Hi, I'm Barnaby Dallas. I teach screenwriting and story development at DreamWorks. Taught there for 15 years, and I run the film and theater program at San Jose State University. Teach screenwriting there and film production. This is a documentary video on how to develop an idea and turn it into a film. All right, the first thing you need to understand when you're going to choose a movie, whether it's a feature, short, or a short film, and I recommend that you do a feature film or a short film before attempting to develop a TV series, just because there is lots of access for the feature films to be sent out to competitions, production companies, etc. And of course, if you're a filmmaker, you should be writing short films all the time. You should be taking short films out of the features. So this applies primarily to the feature and the short filmmaker. There's three types of films everybody can make. The mistake first-time writers make, first-time filmmakers make, is try to make a high-concept film. What is a high-concept film? High-concept film could be a thriller, a superhero film, a fantasy film, something that's going to cost a lot of money and something that you, more importantly, are not familiar with on how to make it. What you need to be familiar with to write a great script and make a movie are two things. One, the world. You need to know the world intimately. So if you have a fantasy high concept film like a Star Wars or the Lord of the Rings, but you don't have the rules of the world worked out, you won't be able to develop it. It won't be consistent. You'll be gone. So I recommend you use a world that you know, right? You use a world you know. And the second most important thing are the characters. You should be able to think like, act like, and be like the characters in your script. That doesn't mean you can't do a high concept film, but you need to know them intimately. I give a long lecture on filmmakers, first-time filmmakers, from Kevin Smith to Damien Chazelle, Whiplash. I call it Clerks to Whiplash. And these are filmmakers who took worlds and characters that they knew intimately for their first films. So the three types of films that you should consider making are the coming-of-age film. What is a coming-of-age film? When a character makes a significant change towards adulthood, towards growth. In my generation, John Hughes did all of these. Films that I recommend my students look at, the coming-of-age films, are films like American Graffiti, Dazed and Confused, Superbad, right? These are films where a significant change is going to affect a character. Something big is going to happen to change. These are coming-of-age films. Anyone in high school or college, and I teach at college, but this is primarily a high school audience, has had a moment where they had to stand up to an authority figure or had to do something that made them an adult. That is a film, an idea that every single one of you can write. Second, the dream film. What is the dream film? Everybody who might be watching this or listening to this wants to be something that their parents, their teachers don't believe, don't think they can. They have a dream not to be an accountant, not to go into sales, not to do real estate, not just to make money, but to do something they're passionate about. This doesn't mean you have to make a movie about being a filmmaker. Damien Chazelle was a jazz drummer. He made a movie about a jazz drummer. Although he's a filmmaker, he had experience in jazz. So the key is, if you're going to make a dream film, you want to have experience in the subject, or you want to have experience in the subject. And the key, especially for young people, is it does not have to be achieved. The pursuit of the dream is enough. The pursuit of the dream is enough. Great films to watch and to study. Again, I use Whiplash in my class. Swingers, you might not have heard of Swingers, but I'm sure you've heard of Jon Favreau. If you haven't heard of Jon Favreau, I'm sure you've heard of Iron Man, Elf, and the Avengers. Jon Favreau wrote a movie about actors trying to make it, and it was him and his best friend Vince Vaughn. I actually knew them in LA at this time, and they were just struggling actors, and they wrote a movie about being struggling actors and deciding to follow their dreams. And they followed their dreams. And that's what the movie's about. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever your dream is, you can make a movie about someone committing to it. You don't even have to achieve it, committing to it, because 90% of the world doesn't do what they love, right? And we like movies about people going after this because we can kind of project ourselves onto it. There's two movies, right? When did you come of age, become a step towards an adult, and a dream movie. And the last and probably easiest movie, but the hardest for people to face, is the family movie. And it's a family going from function to dysfunction, right? A functional family falling apart or a dysfunctional family coming together. A friend of mine, who I've been to several film festivals with, wrote this movie called Little Miss Sunshine. His name's Michael Arndt. I think I even have it right here. This is not only is the perfect script to study for act structure, 3-act structure, but it's a film about a family that is broken and a father who has gone way above and beyond the family's financial means and needs a way to try to save the family, and ruses them to go on a road trip to a beauty contest his daughter should not be on. 6 characters trapped on the way to 6 characters in a family trapped who do not get along, on the way to becoming a functional family. It's an amazing story, and it really happened to Michael Arndt, all the way down from driving in a broken bus, etc. He recommends that, and I do this for my students, I have them read Whiplash, I have them read Little Miss Sunshine. So everybody has an experience with a family. A family has problems, whether it's parental problems, problems with siblings, etc. There's a story there that you can, and we need the arc going from function to dysfunction, or dysfunction to function. Those are easy stories that you know the worlds and you know the characters. So when you're going to pick your story, and the easiest story to develop characters, which allow you to create plausible action and dialogue, are these 3 stories. I do not require my students to write these 3 stories. I just say these are 3 stories you can always write. And if you start high concept, always have one of these low concept stories at hand. So that's where to find an idea.